Hey you, and welcome to my channel. My name is Tina and my aim is to improve your drawings just like others have done for me when I just started out. Now let's talk about PanPastels again. I absolutely love working with them. They have beautiful colors and make soft pastels an even faster medium than it already is. Now, in an earlier video I said I would go a little bit more in depth into using only 5 PanPastel colors. Well, today is that day, so in this video I will explain a little bit about the color mixing techniques that I like and use. Soft pastel is a rather expensive medium, while learning to work with just 5 PanPastels is one of the most budget-friendly things you can do. If you have a more expressive or abstract style, you could even work without pencils, and otherwise just getting a set of pencils accompanied by these 5 PanPastels is a great way to get started. You'll be able to make lots of different drawings, all while keeping an eye on your expenses. Now don't get me wrong, I still love working with soft pastels like the ones that I'm holding here. I do so for various reasons, but that isn't the point right now. What does matter is why PanPastels have a small advantage over them. The ones that you see here are soft pastels from Jackson, Unison and Schminke. I love these because they are so soft, which makes blending a dream, but they do come at a very steep price. Besides the price, a second difference with the pans is that you cannot mix them together easily to create new colors. Sure, you can layer them on top of each other, blend them out, and each time you will be able to alter the color just a little bit, but they don't have the same ability as the pans, where you can just mix yellow and blue together on a printer paper sheet and end up with green. You could also be thinking that if you drop the soft pastel sticks and just work with pastel pencils, you'll be cheaper off than working with either soft pastel sticks or PanPastels, but you'll actually pay more in the long run. Getting in underlayers with pencil eats a lot of your pencil away, whereas if you are just using pans, since they disperse so much pigment, they will last you a lot longer. Now, before I get started with the nitty-gritty, a little bit of theory, but it isn't that much, so bear with me. Now, when you want to create your own colors in whichever medium that is, you will need the 3 primary colors for starters. So let me get that: yellow, red and blue. I'm using a Hansa yellow, a permanent red and a phthalo blue, since these are the closest to the primary colors as it gets. These are all the colors you'll need to theoretically create all of the other colors. Now, besides these, you will need black and white, of course. In this case, it's just simple black and titanium white. Now, even though you can make all of the colors with the 3 primary colors, there are things you cannot achieve, like having a darker or a lighter hue. A hue is just another word for a color, I'm just being fancy here. Let me show you what I mean. I'll be using some digital drawing software to go over this quickly. Let me start with primary red. Next, I'll add black to this, just like if I were mixing it. The result is a shade, so a hue to which we add black, and obviously you end up with a darker color. Now let's go over the red with white. A hue to which we add white results in a tint and is effectively a lighter version. On a side note, you can actually buy these tints and shades in PanPastel colors. Here you're looking at phthalo blue, the tint, the shade and the extra dark of the same phthalo blue. But no need to buy these if you can make them yourself, right? Now back to the red. If you push how much white or black you add in, you'll actually end up with a burgundy or pink. Now there is one more left, and that is when we mix white and black to get gray. And then we are going to mix this gray into our red. The result is known as a tone, and this will darken your original hue while making the color appear more subtle and less vibrant. It's important to understand how they affect your colors, but that's it for the lesson on color theory. Now that I have got that out of the way, let's make our color wheel. There isn't much to this, but it's always nice to have an example from somebody else. I'm using a printer paper sheet, but you can use whichever paper you want to use. So when applying the color to your paper, you will need some tools to do this. In theory, you could use, for example, a makeup brush, but I suggest sticking with the products made by the company itself. Yes, it's also on the pricey side, but if you take good care of them, you can actually use them a lot. 2 tips for taking care of the tools. One, like I mentioned in a lot of other videos, and not only for the PanPastels, is to work lightly. This will give you more layers, more blending options, but more importantly, the sponges will have to endure less friction and have a longer lifespan because of this. And secondly, sometimes it can be a good idea to just rinse them out with some dish soap and water. I'll be using my favorite shape to fill this color in today. Also, if you are enjoying my video, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. I'll first get in the 3 primary colors, and then I'm just going to start creating the other colors with them. So in between red and yellow, you will get orange. In between blue and yellow, you will get green. And lastly, in between blue and red, you will get purple. These are known as the secondary colors. You'll also see that I'm using a sheet on the side where I do the mixing. This is just another sheet of printer paper, so nothing fancy there. But this is actually another advantage of PanPastels. Creating your color on a separate sheet of paper will help you avoid making mistakes. You can keep trying till you have the color you want instead of filling up the tooth of the paper you are working on. You're also mixing your color and adding all those layers on another piece of paper, so you will only have to put on 1 layer of color on your actual drawing, leaving more room for next layers with more details. This can also be extremely helpful when working on papers that cannot take as many layers. You can of course just mix it onto your drawing paper itself, the choice is completely up to you. So this is your basic color wheel. Next up, I'm just going to show you some of the tints and shades so that you get the idea. As I'm doing this, I have a few tutorials up where I build the base layers just using these 5 PanPastels. You can check these out to see some of the drawings that are actually made starting with the base layer like this. For the tints and shades, I'll show you the result with the primary colors. When it comes to how much you should add, this is actually very easy, as much as you need until you get the color that you want. That's also why working light is so valuable. This way you won't take it too far. Now, you don't need to worry about creating your colors because you can mix them on a separate sheet before you use them. So you will be a pro in no time. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. If it was, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to watch more videos, just click on the screen to the left and go check out my channel. Otherwise, I hope to see you again next week, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great week. I absolutely. Now, let's talk about wrong. I still look. Curly, curly, curly. My god. Okay, take 35. Like the ones that I'm holding here.